Welcome to the Eclipse with Dark Squad Entertainment.
Welcome back to the Eclipse with Dark Squad Entertainment. This week, we are going with one of our favorite sections.
For the culture.
So in this segment of For the Culture, we want to discuss a little bit of how we as society and just humans in general are at a little bit of a fork in the road in terms of how we see ourselves, who we aspire to be, and sometimes how we as humans could let other people decide how we feel about ourselves and even our physical appearance.
Yeah.
So recently in trending topics or in trending news is a talented rapper called Glorilla.
Glorilla, yeah.
And Glorilla has been setting music on fire. She had 2 hit singles by herself. Most recently, she had a hit single, Tomorrow. And then she recently dropped Tomorrow 2 with Cardi B.
Cardi B, right.
That also have torn, that song has also torn through Billboard.
Absolutely.
So Glorilla obviously is ridiculously talented and is receiving much love from the rap community, the hip hop community, and just people who love good music in general. But at the same time, there's a little bit of controversy around this talented woman.
There is.
Okay, what have you heard about it?
I heard that there's been a lot of body shaming and a lot of backlash about, you know, her look and she should get this kind of surgery or that kind of surgery to take her career to the next level.
So Glorilla recently made headlines more than once.
Yeah.
That she was trolled, that she was body shamed, and that people, instead of celebrating her success and the fact that she is tearing through the charts, that a lot of the comments were negative, and a lot of the comments centered around people indicating that she should fix her nose. Glorilla, just for those of you who may not be familiar, is a petite woman.
Yeah.
And so there were also people who were insisting, and some of them quite rudely, that she should now, or had to now, get some sort of plastic surgery to become, I guess, more of what some in society would say would be that look.
Right.
And so Glorilla took a lot of trolling. She took a lot of backlash. And she took a lot of hate online, despite this being a celebration of her success.
Right.
And her response to that was admirable, because once you reach a certain level in the industry, can you speak about what happens and why her response is admirable and what her response was?
I mean, I love the fact that she stood her ground.
In what way?
And the fact that she didn't fold under the pressure. And she was determined that she wasn't going to let people change her into something, someone that she just naturally isn't. Mm-hmm. She stuck with being herself. And she's living proof that, you know, these extra things aren't necessary. She's already had proven success without these things. So I definitely totally respect her decision. I also feel like, you know, in this world, a lot of people often don't live for themselves. The decisions that they make and the things that they do these things to please other people. It got to be something that makes you happy personally. Because if you're going out of your way to try to please all of these other people, but you're miserable in the process, then what really is the point? Because these same people be the ones that's quickest to turn and flip on you in the blink of an eye.
Well, I would say that brings us to kind of the theme of what we're talking about, that to me as a society, we're at a fork in the road, because we are advocates of protect Black women.
Right.
We are advocates of speak your truth. We are advocates of you are good enough. We are lovers of Lizzo. We are into body positivity. You see it on every hashtag. Love yourself as you are. Don't change for anybody. Be the authentic you. But at the same time, there is a culture that is telling people, men and women, that there are critical changes that you must make aesthetically or to your very person in
Right.
order to be successful. So it's kind of a mixed message. And I think that for we as humans and we as lovers of art and lovers of pop culture, that it's something to reflect on, to talk about in the comments on, do these two messages merge?
Right.
Be you, be your authentic self. You are good enough.
Right.
We don't body shame, body positivity. But on the other hand, even at the height of success, this is what you need to do to fix yourself.
Right. I mean, I think it's just a matter of, how does this work for you internally? Because some people might be even happy with some of these kind of changes that may heighten and boost their career. Some people may get that kind of surgery and be happy with it, and maybe they're happy and like themselves better that way. It's not up for us to make those decisions and judge these people one way or another. I
Absolutely.
think it's just about what internally works for you. If you happy the way you are, then be yourself and don't allow people to influence you to stray away from who you are.
Yeah.
If you happy with you, then be you. If you like your body the way it is, then don't let nobody tell you your body should be different. But if you unhappy with your body the way it is, or not even unhappy, if you just feel like I want to enhance, if that's what works for you and you happy with it, then do what you do.
Well, I remember Cardi B. Cardi B started out as on Instagram actually, and she was just so personable.
Right.
She said what she thought, and she kept it real, and she just got such a massive following on Instagram just because of the way she spoke. She spoke to the
Right.
people. And so eventually she got picked up on Love and Hip Hop.
Yeah.
And I remember when she was first on Love and Hip Hop, she had some teeth her teeth just were a little crooked or whatever.
Right.
And she was happy with herself. But
And she should have been.
I think Cardi's always been beautiful. But I remember that on Love and Hip Hop, she even spoke about, people are pressuring me to get my teeth done. I guess,
Right.
people not going to be happy with me until I get my teeth done. And actually, that was a segment that they did on Love and Hip Hop where
Right.
she went to the dentist and it was a lot of, hours and hours there. And she got her teeth corrected.
Right.
So she even spoke about that she was happy with herself,
Right.
but that, other people seem to have a problem with it, and she did it. So I know that there are so many beautiful women in rap, in R&B, and I think about when I was a little girl and I was watching TV, I wanted to be just like the women that I saw in rap and R&B.
Right.
I wanted to look like them. I wanted to be like them. I wanted to emulate them. I just thought that they were beautiful. So I would just caution us as a society, since we are at this critical fork in the road, I would just caution us to keep in mind that we do have beautiful little girls and boys of every ethnicity at home
Right.
who are watching us. And so while we let them know that it's their choice
It is. It is definitely their
on
choice.
how they want to look and who they want to grow into. But at the same time, I would also say that we live up to what we're preaching about.
Yeah.
You are good enough as you, and that authentically you are enough.
Right.
Because as a little girl, if I am, and again, I've always been a very petite woman, if I am very petite and I'm not naturally curvaceous, and I see these beautiful women who are beautiful, at every angle and just perfect looking,
Right.
but I don't look like that. My hair texture doesn't fall like that. I'm not built like that. Then I think it's a fork in the road, or the apex of a pivotal decision
Right.
on how we tell these children that they're good enough And so going back to your point about Glorilla, how do you think that message may have impacted kids at home who are watching her?
I think it was a positive message actually because again, it teaches sometimes people get in situations where they're quick to just give in the pressure and not be themselves.
Mm-hmm.
She made it okay to be yourself despite what other people's opinions are or what they have to say about you at the end of the day because again it's a matter of personal preference. If you feel like, hey, I want to go to the dentist and get my teeth fixed, then if that's what's going to make you feel more confident about yourself, then go do that. And I mean, vice versa. Sometimes people might say things that might even be true. Maybe you do need to get your teeth fixed. And maybe you're happy with yourself once you get them fixed. It's not always like a negative thing where, it's you're giving in to someone else's opinion of you. Like sometimes it may even be something that you were happy you done after you made the decision.
I think that cuts both ways though, because there's an infamous meme from there used to be a show, Tyra Banks, called America's Next Top Model, and there was a woman who had a gap naturally from her. All of her family members had one.
Right.
She was very happy with it, and they literally forced her, or she risked being put off the show to get her gap fixed,
Right.
and she didn't want it done, so she had it closed. She asked them to leave a little bit in there, but she was forced to do it, and she wasn't happy with it. She was highly pressured into it as a teenage.
I get it.
So, girls, so I would say that, as you're saying, that we, as a society, at this pivotal place where we're speaking both things at the same time,
Right.
that we could do perhaps a better job of letting our children and even, adults know that we are good enough, however we may look, in the skin that we're in, and that also, that it may sound cliche, that beauty comes from within. So let's try to build that up some more.
Absolutely.
And then whatever you may want to do on the outside, but let's be good people. Let's be good people to each other.
Well, yeah, I mean, we should always do that. And I think, I feel like it's a simple case of sometimes change is necessary. But change, when it comes to certain things, especially like your appearance or even your character, like a lot of times you got to change you because you want to change you.
Mm-hmm.
You change you because you want to change you. Some people, like you said, she didn't want to change her gap. Other people had all these opinions about do this, get your teeth fixed, remove that gap, do this. But at the end of the day, that gap is who she was.
And it was a family thing, and it was who she felt represented her as a part of that family.
She was comfortable with it, wasn't ashamed of it, then who are we to tell her to change it?
Absolutely. So now we're going to turn it over like we always do to you. So
You tell us.
Yeah.
What's your opinion? What do you think about it?
So in this culture of if you have the means, you have the resources, you have access to the top doctors, your health condition will tolerate it. Is there anything wrong with fixing anything that you perceive that you might just want to make better or just streamline? Is there anything wrong with that? For the people that have done it, do you feel that they're good role models?
Right.
Do you feel that they are people that you would let your children watch? I know that I have seen both Cardi B and Nicki Minaj do incredible things for their fans, including help with tuition for education. Mm-hmm. So how do you feel about people in the industry who have chosen to do this as being role models to your children? And finally, with us being at this pivotal fork in the road of body positivity, you don't shame her. be who you are. Everybody's beautiful. Be naturally you. Protect black women.
Right.
Protect women in general. My body is my power. Speak your truth.
Yeah.
So are these two messages, are they intertwining, or are they literally a fork in the road where we really need to kind of streamline
Definitely
our
a fork in the
language
road.
and
Absolutely.
and merge the two conversations?
Yeah, I mean, this reminds me of even two things that I saw on TV. Granted, this was a TV show, this was a movie, but it also connects to the point. Like I was just watching Raising Kanan a couple episodes ago. I'm
Power.
sure y'all familiar
Yeah,
with
absolutely. Power book
Raising Kanan.
2,
No,
3.
it ain't two. I think it's three.
Okay.
But anyway, it was an episode where Jukebox, the young Jukebox, was in the studio singing, and she was killing the track. They was loving it. But then they was also telling her she needed to change her look. She needed to dress more sexy. She needed to make people wanna, when they see her, wanna have sex with her from the way she looked in her dress, and she wasn't feeling it. She was like, "That's not who I am." And she held her ground and she stuck with her guns. That's a prime example of, that fork in the road. Do you change who you are for more success, but be unhappy knowing that you're not being yourself? Or do you stick with your guns and be yourself and remain happy? And sometimes that change might make you happy.
Yeah.
It differs from person to person. The other example was, I mean, this is even from the movie, I think it was called Just Right with Queen Latifah and Common, where she had that beat up car with the dent in it. And then he got her car fixed for her, but he kept the dent in that car. He tightened the car up real nice, but he kept the dent in because the dent in the car was important to her in her
I
door.
think it represented her grandfather or something
Yeah.
like that.
She wanted that dent.
Yeah.
Everybody
So
else
that
may sew it as,
So as an
you
imperfection.
need to get this beat
Yes.
up raggedy piece of junk fixed. Get a new door, get a new door. But that dent in that door meant something special to her.
I think that's a good point about Queen Latifah because she has a scar somewhere on her face
Right.
that she purposely has never gotten fixed.
Yeah.
And I don't remember the story behind it, but that's another good point.
Right.
So I think this is a good point where we turn it over to you.
Yeah.
As a society, again, with this pivotal fork in the road, how do we streamline the message
Yeah.
so that we feel that we are enough with who we are intrinsically? How do we pass that message on to impressionable people of all ages? And how do we at the same time seize our power of this is how I want to look. I have the resources, I have the connections, I have the money to do it. And this is how I feel that I'm best represented.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people, if they got money to make certain changes about themselves, they're not going to hesitate to do it. Some people don't make these changes because they just can't afford to do it.
Absolutely.
If you got the money and that's what you want to do, then more power to you.
At the
I ain't
same
mad
time,
at you.
neither am I. But at the same time, let's discuss it. So let's discuss again. It's your decision. So we're going to throw it back to you. How do we keep the message of body positivity, you be you, you're enough, I'm enough, he's enough, but at the same time, keep the message of it is your body and it's your choice.
Your choice.
But at the same time, have love for the people who don't have the resources and the little girls and little boys at home that are watching these beautiful people and may not look like that. So to close it out, we're going to play a snippet of a song by Eclipse called Fork in the Road and see if you can understand and interpret why this song is appropriate to this discussion.
Absolutely.
And also how you felt about yourself, your appearance, and places when you've been at a pivotal fork in the road.
We all come to a fork in the road at some point in our life for various reasons.
Yeah, absolutely.
How do
Sometimes
you
it's
decide?
internal, sometimes it's external, but
How do you decide?
Indeed. All right, so you already know I am Patrice.
And this is Eclipse.
And we are
Dark Squad Entertainment.
And this has been For the Culture.
For the culture. We out. Drop them comments.
Don't let it be over.
Believe it or not, in 43 years you learn quite a lot. Know that my days are numbered, so what is left I give all I got. Jot down life lessons, gotta take them in stride. When the puzzle pieces don't fit, two worlds will often collide. Proving difficult to accept it when it's time to decide. It's not meant to be, can't be forced, push wishful thinking aside. Experience makes you smarter, keep your eyes open wide. Everything in life has to teach through ups and downs like a tide. Soaking up all the information that it has to provide. More pressure is being applied when good and bad coincide. Not high enough up in rank, so you can't override. Overwhelmed by the anxieties you've been feeling inside. That's the way of the human being, no matter where you reside. On the road with nothing other than God's word is the guide. Everyone don't have your best interest, watching whom you confide. Wanna fly beyond the clouds or close my eyes and just glide.
So many people come around when you shine, but they can't see what's underneath of the glow.
What's underneath of the glow?
Soon as it's gone, the present starts to decline. It's something that I learned long time ago.
I learned long time
I
ago.
know they always quick to say they love me, they lie when they can't wait to see me fail on the low.
To see me fail on the low.
But that won't stop me, cause I'm going for mine. I'm on my grind 7 days in a row.
I'm at a fork in the road.